Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode number 28.
Nope, 27.
No, because the lost episode
Do
is...
you want to actually...
can't count
have to
it.
mention
We didn't
the
publish
lost
it.
episode.
We had a little bit of an audio snafu on episode 27. So welcome to episode 28 of the Subscription Podcast, where we talk about everything subscription membership and recurring revenue. Our goal is to always educate, inspire, and help you learn more about what's happening in the world of subscription and continue to build better, more amazing, long-lived, sustainable subscription businesses. Wow. Feel good. So we're going to dive into some news today. We've got a hot take talking about Spotify versus Audible. We did another Ask ChatGPT for a subscription business and a really fun one today. We're going to recap our trip to the mall because we went to the mall together. A lot of fun.
Do some competitor analysis, not just a random
Really good
shopping
stuff
spree.
on that.
Yeah.
And then, of course, we're going to wrap it up with a riveting game towards our taco party of Name That Subscription. You ready, Louie? Kick us off with the news.
I am ready. And first up is Adobe. In the news, not once, but twice, and neither is great. So the first thing I'm sure everyone has heard by now, Adobe and Figma are mutually agreeing to terminate the merger agreement. For those of you who don't know, they originally announced it in September 15th of 2022 that they were going to acquire Figma for a mix of cash and stock consideration. Figma obviously being a great design platform, which really would integrate great for the Adobe platform and its users. But the problem is that neither company did actually anything wrong here. According to them, they're saying that they were not allowed to do the merger based on the European Commission and the UK Competition and Markets Authority. I quote here, Adobe and Figma strongly disagree with the recent regulatory findings, but we believe it is in our respective best interests to move forward independently.
Amazing, because Microsoft was able to push through that with Activision.
Yeah.
Right?
So I'm not
and this
sure.
is a big deal. But you know what I think? I think they announced this. The design community was like, whoa, pump the brakes. We already, we use Adobe because we, have to. But boy, we really like Figma. Now it's all going to be under one kind of big authoritarian
and
rule.
gated with payment, right? You can use Figma for free right now in certain aspects.
Yeah.
Adobe would definitely gated behind a subscription.
And I wonder if they looked at that and said, boy, this isn't going to go well. And maybe we should just let the regulators say what they're going to say. Maybe they bribe the regulators to say let's not make this happen.
Allegedly.
So yeah, sure. But so on the flip side of that, the other part of this is the FTC investigation on their cancellation rules.
Yes.
And this has apparently been ongoing since 22.
Correct.
And it has to do with the way if you buy an annual subscription on Adobe and you go to cancel early, you pay penalties and fees.
And so for full context, the FTC in earlier March 2023 came out with a new proposed rule of the click to cancel, stating that from now on, they're proposing that companies and subscriptions specifically should make it as easy for users to cancel as it is to subscribe to a company. So
I don't think
for
anybody
example,
disagrees with that.
You go on a website, if you can subscribe by just clicking a button, you should be able to cancel by just a click of a button. And a lot of companies right now are kind of caught in the crossfire of that because they have just fine print saying, if you cancel after X date, blah, blah, blah. And that's kind of what Adobe is facing with its plans.
So let's look at this for a second, though, because if you get an annual plan with Adobe,
yes,
you're going to get a pricing benefit, right?
Correct.
Let's say you get 2 months for free or whatever it is in there. And is it really fair to, if you're going to take that benefit, to decide later, gosh, I don't, I had the benefit of that benefit, but now I don't want to do that anymore. My opinion on this is if you're going to give somebody an annual pricing plan and they choose to cancel early, then you should just say it reverts back to the monthly pricing at cancellation. Your only fee or fine you're going to pay is what you would have paid had you selected monthly anyway. So there's nothing lost or gained on either party's side, I guess. They're going to lose their annual subscriber, but that's what it is. That seems like the fair way to do it, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I think now we get caught in people being so budget conscious that they try to find ways around and through subscription terms and conditions, right? So creating several email addresses to get free trials, for example, and things of that nature where people are getting a little more sneaky about the way they do things. And obviously that generates frustration on both sides because if you get caught being sneaky, that's going to go against you. But the company on the other side has to, protect its interest because that's a huge revenue boost, right? Getting someone to pay an upfront annual subscription versus someone paying monthly. Yeah. You're assured that there's going to be that $146, for example.
Bradley, your thoughts on the Figma deal?
Well, I think, especially with someone who uses Adobe, you do get kind of excited when something you already pay for is coming over. We're going to talk about Audible and Spotify getting audiobooks, which is something that would make me happy and does make me happy. So, yeah, I mean, I think it depends on what side of the aisle you fall on. If you're already paying for this Adobe subscription, you're kind of excited, and you've paid for Figma separately. But, yeah, now that this falls through, I mean, again, it just kind of depends on where you stand. In the whole situation before all of this went down.
But did you not like Figma becoming part of Adobe? Did you have any opinions on that?
I didn't have any opinions on it. I looked at it more as a consumer than I did anything else. I mean, I don't use Figma enough like the rest of the team to have a very, very in-depth thought on it. So at first it was just like, oh, okay, so that's kind of nice. We're going to get that in addition to kind of what we already have. But
yeah. You know, more to come on kind of the FTC and what they're doing here with Adobe. But let's transition for a second and talk about losing your subscription midstream, which is what's happening with Smile Direct right now.
Yeah, they're not really smiling right now.
Zero smiles.
I gotta get like
you want the trumpet? That's the happy one.
Didn't feel right. We need to rehearse next time.
No, I can reverse it right now.
Yeah.
They're not really smiling right now.
So they filed for bankruptcy, and what the bigger beef of that, you know, it's like if FabFitFun or somebody else, like Wink filed for bankruptcy. Let's use one that actually versus like forecasting. Wink filed for bankruptcy. It's like, oh, I don't get my wine anymore. You know, maybe a couple upset people who had paid and it didn't ship yet. You can resolve that easily. But these people, they're in the middle of treatments.
Because it takes 4 to 6 months.
Right.
Yeah.
And so it's like, yeah, sorry, you can't finish your treatment with us. That to me is infuriating. That they couldn't take the time to go to talk to a competitor like Invisalign or somebody else and say, hey, is there any way, I know our systems might be different, but can we do a nice handoff to you here?
Yeah, all they did was to encourage customers, quoting, to consult local dentist offices.
What a bunch of BS.
Not the best offboarding experience, but at the same time, they're dealing with their own set of struggles. So at that point, what do you care?
Yeah, but it's about that legacy that you leave, and it's about how you leave it. And I get it. Like, it's not an easy
taste
position.
in your mouth.
Oh,
nice.
There's no sound effect for that one.
So maybe we'll do the other one again.
Yeah, that works better.
Okay, so here's my thoughts on this: is as like in a business position, couldn't you get something out of this as a business? Couldn't you get some sort of money for referrals or anything like that?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
so like just leaving it feels like there's missed opportunity on the table.
Yeah,
there.
refer them over to and be able to capture revenue from that referral source.
It's an interest. Yeah, I mean, so Paul, you've acquired businesses.
Sign up for an affiliate link.
You've acquired businesses before, though. What would be like for an Invisalign? What would be the downside of acquiring Smile Direct Club?
I did this one time. I used to run a local home IT division, an IT services company. We grew so big, we were servicing like big customers, Little Caesars, and all the different companies, and we didn't want to do the home users anymore. Instead of just saying like, "Sorry, we can't help you anymore," we actually set an arrangement with another local IT company to take them all over, and then said like, hey, I'll let you know we're not doing this anymore, but we found a great partner to work with, vetted them, interviewed them, everything else. And then we did a small referral commission off of them for a period of time. So I was able to find a happy home for them, get them in the good hands of somebody good that I knew and could trust, and then also make a little bit of revenue on it for a small amount of time. It's a win for everybody.
Yeah. Interesting. We'll see what happens. Smile Direct Club did not respond to. Was looking at CNN's article here. They did not respond to CNN for comments. So we'll see if there's any updates in the future. But definitely, when you think about going through a rough patch, make sure to offboard your customers in a pleasant way. You don't want to leave that sour taste, as we mentioned. So something to consider.
Yeah. So speaking of rough patches, FabFitFun had a little bit of one.
We're on fire with the transitions today. I hope you guys are noticing. Please quote in the comments your favorite.
This all started with my Jock Jams jam before we started.
This might be my hot take before the hot take, but so FabFitFun did a fun ad. I call it fun. Some people call it not fun, apparently, to kind of piggy off Elon Musk's remarks during a conference where he told advertisers that if they try to blackmail him with pulling out their ad budget from X, he told them to go F themselves. And that was in front of hundreds of people at a conference. So obviously that kind of went viral on X and other platforms. So FabFitFun decided to do a fun little thing where they said, and I want to get it right, on Monday, users of X were treated to an ad that read, "Happy Holidays. FabFitFun is pledging an additional $100,000 of X advertising in support of its free speech ideals." The ad offered new annual X users a free $300 gift with their first box if they use the code. Can you guess the code?
Go F yourself.
That's the one.
Yeah.
Not everyone was happy about that.
No.
They might have taken it personally. So anyways, that kind of went viral as well, but not in the right way. And
outrage marketing, baby. Nick Sharma talks about this. It's outrage marketing. You get people like upset. It made the Yahoo Finance story here. People like, oh, FabFitFun. Yeah, I guess I'll use that coupon code.
Do you think that's a majority? I feel like that's a
so
minority.
here's what I think. It might be I don't know. I'd be curious to see what the data looks behind this. But I will say that I'm not a big fan of being political in ads like that. And that's a bit of a political statement. You know what I mean? Like saying like we're supporting freedom of speech and everything else in there. And I get that. I feel it's too polarizing right now as a brand to take that position. But it works. It got attention.
You know what I do like?
They created outrage.
I like the follow-up. And they posted and they said, "We've circled up with teams internally and believe the execution of this campaign was in poor judgment. The advertisement in question has been taken down and we apologize for any offense it created." You could have.
Can you still use the "go after yourself"?
I want to see. The number of coupon codes, the take rate on that coupon code, versus like other coupons that they've done and other ads that they've done.
So, yeah, and what I like about it is they did take ownership for what they thought could be a good ad, but they obviously it didn't work out. Someone did mention that they didn't apologize for doing the ad; they just apologized for the offense that it created. So that's also an interesting statement of how much are you willing to acknowledge? So clearly, like they were happy that they did the ad, but they were unhappy about the execution and obviously profits they could have generated. So something interesting about brand transparency, understanding your target audience, right? FabFitFun is obviously a very specific demographic. May have not been the best one. Maybe Tesla users would have enjoyed it more. Who knows?
Well, I mean, that's not a bad ad for Tesla.
Yeah,
I think it's yeah, man. I don't know. I'd be really curious to see the data behind it.
So you mentioned outrage marketing. Do you think it was an actual ploy? Like they thought this is going to go viral one way or another. It doesn't matter. Let's just any publicity is good publicity.
That's a hard call.
Okay.
If it was by design to create outrage, I think they had I think somebody there had good intentions with it. They're trying to be a little cheeky and funny, and then it went a step too far. It got picked up by somewhere.
Fair.
You know, you gotta do what the people want, and people don't want to see that.
But you know
people
what they do want?
People don't want to go F themselves.
You know what they do want?
Streaming bundles.
They want streaming service. Gosh, Bradley, where are you at with
this?
The
This is
cues?
amazing. I mean, I might just have to get a whole different soundboard
You
for
need
this
to.
because
This
has
is-
been impressive.
So nearly 2/3 of consumers want a streaming service bundle, survey finds, and it's not family feud thing. It's a Nielsen report. Nielsen also finds that Americans watched nearly 15 million years worth of streaming content last year.
What are you talking about?
I'm going to say that one more time just for fun. Americans, not global population, Americans watched nearly 15, that's 15, million years worth of streaming content.
How much of that was when you were asleep?
I never sleep. I watch that. I go to work on this.
I doze off, and then I'm like, damn. You know, Netflix patented something a while back that would recognize when your eyes closed, and then it would like stop your streaming service.
How many people freaked out by that?
Yeah, no, that never made its way out. I mean, like, I wouldn't.
Is it worse than the Go F Yourself coupon as far as?
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I think it's interesting though. I wonder how much of this when you sleep, but that's fascinating. And look, we've talked about this before.
Extensively.
People want bundles.
64% of them.
And so we've actually have some lengthy conversations coming up at SubSummit about that. A lot of, a few panel discussions specifically in streaming. We had this discussion last year, Verizon talking about their Plus Play with a couple of their Plus Play members on stage. We actually had a few relationships formed. It's just like all around, it's needed. It's wanted.
And I think
make it happen.
I think the point too is we're talking about streaming right now, and which is obviously the biggest industry for that. But a lot of brands forget that bundling is possible in any segments or verticals, right? Like there's something you can leverage. if you get a Peloton membership, you have access to NBA TV perhaps, right? Like that is happening. So just because you don't have a physical product just because you have a physical product doesn't mean you should feel excluded from this. This sentiment that they have that they want more services into one package can extend to anything, clothing and food, you know, healthcare and whatever.
And the final segue of the news section.
Well, now you can't.
Say, speaking of bundling,
that's
how you should
come
have said
on.
that. And then I would have done this.
Bradley, you can.
Okay. I think it's more.
I
think it's better to be obvious about that one.
Now that is talent right there.
I do. So onto that. Speaking of bundling.
Nice.
Whoa.
All right.
What a good transition.
Apple's strategy on that. This is interesting, by the way. So tell me, you read this article. I've only skimmed it for a minute. Tell me what this is about here.
I will read it word for word because I'm trying to also grasp my head around it. As app developers look to drive subscription loyalty in the face of increasing competition, Apple is making it possible for players in the space to offer bundled subscription pricing. So that means that the new feature will help you attract and retain subscribers.
Amazing.
Okay, you got it.
This is amazing.
Cool.
This is amazing. And actually, this can create the streaming bundle.
Yeah, 100%.
But the problem is they take 30%. Or 15 or 30%.
That's the price you have to pay, though.
And no, it's not the price you have to pay because you're giving a discount for taking the bundle, and Apple's taking the money from you. Like, somebody else needs to do this besides Apple because, and this is...
Well, I mean, that's pretty much what Verizon is doing in a certain way with Plus Play, but obviously it's not from the app perspective.
Yeah, they're not maybe taking
people
as
have been
much.
lobbying for a while now. I don't know if it's ever going to go through, but there was rumors of it, you know, stuff, the legal aspects of it, where people want an alternate app store. They don't think it's right. There's only one way to get apps, and it's all regulated by Apple.
What about Google Play?
So I can't download apps on an iPhone. I can't download Google Play apps.
I see. It's only for Android.
And all Android, you can get places from anywhere, good or bad, because you know there's problems that happen when you don't have a contained regulated service. But you could technically get things wherever. So now that it's just the App Store, you're kind of locked into this. Now, this is nice to be able to have that where you can get a bundle directly in there. But Paul's right. I mean, you're still held to that, you know, higher percentage that other, you know, app hosting services, you know, don't do as much.
Yeah. I don't. This is super interesting to me. And look, it's a bummer that there's that big challenge with what Apple's trying to take as far as like the fees on it. But it is a great way to build. I mean, you know, think about the smaller app developers out there and them being able to come together. Can you get a Calm with a Headspace? You know, they're kind of competitors, but like
a Calm with a Spotify. You could
with Spotify. Yeah, you could do bundles from that standpoint. So I think it's great what they're doing. I think the challenge just becomes the way Apple treats kind of the fees that they take on top of it.
You know what'd be great is if Apple took the stage at SubSummit and explained it to the biggest community in subscription and membership and said, this is what we're doing and here's why.
Yeah.
So Apple, this is me, Louis, alongside Paul, who matters a little more, asking you, hey, why don't you come on the stage in front of 2,000 attendees at SubSummit 24 and say, this is why we're doing it and this is how you can be part of it. And you'll be talking to brands like Harry's, you'll be talking to brands like FabFitFun, like Feastables, and hundreds of others in the DTC subscription space. So I'll see you there.
Yeah. I mean, look, in this, what a pitch.
It was so
in
good
this
that
article,
I had to clap it.
You know, it talks about the payments intelligence report from 2020.
Yes.
We actually talked about this a little bit even last year from them at SubSummit. And they created this report in collaboration with Vindicia revealed that 51% of consumers rank saving money among the top 3 reasons for considering buying subscription bundles.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
That's my number one reason for pretty much everything.
Yeah.
Like it's a no-brainer. That's why you're doing it. And for convenience too, right? Like those are the 2 big things. It's budget and convenience.
Yeah. I don't want to have a catalyst. I wonder, looking back at this moment, like how much of a catalyst this is going to be for bundling overall.
Yeah,
like it's interesting to me because if you're making it that much more accessible, like is that the straw in the camel's back? That's just like, all right, bundling, here it comes, you know?
That's so funny, yeah, because it almost feels that way already. That it's such a prevalent, you know, part of the industry. But you're right, like, have we only seen the tip of the iceberg for bundling? So super interesting. That's a good point.
Yeah, we there's a previous SubSummit sponsor that sat on stage last year with payments, and they talked a lot about this, and that's where I think these opportunities of getting value and showing the saving the money. I think it's a tremendous opportunity out there. So.
Understanding that not everyone is your competitor, but can be a strategic ally in this industry is massive.
Yeah. So let's shift for a second and talk a little bit about something that's a lot of great news happening out there, by the way.
Yes.
I say great news. Lots of news.
Informative.
That's great.
Yes, informative, juicy.
Lessons learned.
Juicy.
Is what
a lot going on.
We'll call it the
I haven't
lessons
used the
learned
word
segment.
juicy in a while.
And I think we
it's
know why.
Juicy.
I think we know
Yeah.
why.
Juicy news.
Very interesting. That's what we'll call this segment going forward. All right, here's the latest in juicy news.
Well, actually, I think that's just what the podcast should be called.
Yeah.
The juicy podcast.
The juicy podcast.
No, I take it back. I don't
Let's
like it.
maybe go back to our roots of the subscription podcast. Hot take. Let's have a hot take for a second.
Tell me the hot take.
Hot take is Audible. Do you keep it or do you cancel it if you're already a Spotify subscriber? Because Spotify rolled out audiobook subscription. However, an important point to note, in the Spotify audiobook subscription, you only get 15 hours of that audiobook.
Semi-gated.
Audible allows you to just buy the book, right? And so the challenge there then becomes, can you read the book and can you get it in the 15 hours? However, I did learn the other day, the average audiobook is 15 hours in length. So kind of by design.
Can I do it?
Why they did that?
Can I layer a hotter take that belongs to this take? Audible is part of Amazon. Amazon should bump up your price by $5 for your subscription and offer Audible as part of Prime.
It's too disconnected. No. I'm just saying this from speaking of personal experience.
Oh,
when they merged the two, the whole thing just didn't feel like it went well, and they still feel like two totally separate companies to me, in a weird way. Like I can't even get into my account sometimes because which account login am I using? And
well, yeah, that's because right now they're completely separate. I'm saying,
but they need to press the reset button.
If Prime integrates it, then you have access to video content, and then you have access to Audible. You're done. Bump up the membership by a small margin.
Yeah, it'd have to be because Audible. I understand where you're coming from. It's a perfect bundle.
It's a hotter take.
It's a perfect bundle.
It's a hotter take.
It is a hot take.
Bradley, yeah.
What would you do?
I'm very passionate about this.
Let me go off.
I am very passionate about this. Here's one thing that I think would make it kind of 100% no-brainer. To me, it's like a 90% no-brainer right now.
That's pretty good.
Because, some people don't read all one book at the same time. So if you want to drift around, Audible, it's a credit per month, and
That's
a
true.
credit.
Right.
So you pay for a book. That doesn't mean, so that's sort of gated too in a reverse way, because you could be paying for an expensive book. You could be paying for a cheap book. You know what I mean?
It's the same credit.
You're paying for a kid's book.
It's a
Bear and
one
Same Bears?
credit. Yep. It's a one credit system no matter what. So, and then similar thing with Spotify in a way that it's somewhat adaptable, somewhat not, is the sense that you can do multiple books, you could do smaller books, but if it's a long book, then it's like, which one's better? Is it the Audible, versus, it could be a case by case, but I think overall it is Spotify that's the better option here, especially because you could wait a month if you wanted to. Now, here's the 100%. Here's the reason why it should be a 100% no-brainer, and that is if they were to make it so that after you get through the 15 hours, that there's a discount on the book and you could finish the book off percentage-wise, and I could just pay for the rest of the book flat out. Let's say I get rid of through 90%, and they're like, okay, so now there's only unlock the rest of the book for $3.
There you go.
100% easy win. There's just no way that, because then you're basically
That's not
matching
going to
the
upset
credit.
you. That's not going to upset you. Be like, I already paid for this, and now I have to unlock the
Right.
rest of the book.
And I think there has to be communication there.
Okay.
And I agree. I think there's going to be a little bit of that where you're like, okay, come on. It feels like a trial, even though I'm paying for it.
Yeah.
However, they just rolled it out. And if there was some sort of information on the fact that you had a single credit in an Audible that would get you there, or you're already paying with all the music that you have on top of this. This is just this is an additional perk that's crazy. You're already paying this much, and then you're paying pretty much a free level of audiobooks. So it's on the communication standard, because I'm already paying for the music, and
Yeah.
Audible was going to be a separate thing. So it's how you present it for sure, and also to an extent where as you're talking about at part of the package, you can say, you could buy a book flat out and read it. You can just listen to it for 15 hours through our subscription, which is already on top of it. And then if you want to finish it within that month, you can pay a very cheap price. Because basically, you're just discounting a book. That's all it is. Yeah. If you phrase it as, hey, we're just giving you a really hard discount on a book because of on top of a music subscription that you've been using already. So it's all about communication. Yeah. It's a long ramble, but it's all about communication.
Look at what people like are two things: consistency and clarity. Right? Be consistent with what you're doing and be clear in what to expect. And I've got a little bit of inside knowledge on this as we've been talking to Spotify about coming to SubSummit, just kind of working through the comms side of things right now. And I think there's a pretty good chance they'll be there. But one thing I do know is it's all about the customer for them. Paying attention to the customer's needs, pay attention to what they're looking for, how they can continue to be there for them. And I think that goes a long way, with any brand out there. Mm-hmm. So I think I think it's an amazing hot take. I like that. I like these hot takes, by the way. These are a lot of fun.
I think it'll be very interesting to see because I was looking
Audible's
through the website.
Going to have to respond somehow.
Yeah,
and maybe that bundling with Prime Music is the right thing because then it's the same value with terms of music and audiobooks in the same spot. So
I think where Audible distinguishes itself already is the selection of titles, right? Like obviously Spotify members will have access to 150,000 plus, but like the Audible the Audible's library of selection is way bigger. So that's one thing where they still have the edge here where maybe Spotify, you won't get the titles you want. Maybe Spotify Premium won't have access to the Elon Musk book, right? Or like the really best sellers.
If we start doing exclusivity with books, I am going
Honestly,
to
if I'm Audible, I'm keeping the best sellers for like I'm not letting Spotify get those.
You know what we should do with ChatGPT sometime is ask them what they would do to alter, edit, or fix or change
just keep talking.
An existing subscription. Don't do it right now. We're saving this for another episode.
Got me excited.
We're out of time on this discussion point, but that could be an interesting thing.
I didn't want to talk anyways.
Segues us nicely though into our what do we want to call this segment? Subscription idea?
Yeah, like subscription idea, or like it's like our juicy subscription ideas.
Our juicy or not is not a final name.
This is going to be a segment where we have ChatGPT intervene in a way of we gauge it with subscription questions such as like Paul said, modifying a subscription, fixing a subscription. In this case, creating a subscription.
And we've done this before. We had fun with this before.
Primo Vino.
Yeah, Primo Vino. We came up with an idea for Olive Garden's membership program.
Paid membership.
And it's unbelievable. And I don't know why they haven't implemented it yet.
Yes. Agreed.
It's almost like they don't watch the podcast or listen to the podcast.
Well, we're going to have to make sure that they listen. And we're going to make sure BP listens because right now we have BP Fuel Pass.
Yes.
So we want BP stands for I don't know what this stands for.
British Petroleum.
Thank you.
You should know this. You're from Europe.
Continent.
Jeez, oh Pete.
Yeah, Europe.
Yeah.
It's just
or just one big country.
So
all Europe.
Tell us what the prompt was.
Okay, so the prompt was basically create a subscription service based around, very simple, create a subscription service based around the company BP. I didn't even actually say gas. I just said BP. I didn't even say fuel. Wow. I wanted to see what they did.
Okay,
because I want to make sure that it was, the ChatGPT was focusing on the consumer, and it did. It went right to fuel. Now, here's how it started, all right? We got basic fuel pass. And mind you, I picked this business not just because they're huge, but because this is something we get frequently. I mean,
unless you have
a lot
of people.
Car. Unless you have an electric car, unless you don't drive, but there's a ton of people that frequently fuel their car. So anyway, here we go. Basic fuel pass is a monthly subscription fee for a set number of gallons. It says 32
Dangerous.
Here.
I don't think that's. I saw this bullet point. I wasn't quite crazy
I don't like
about
that.
it.
But I think that's too specific. But let's bring it back a little bit and let's just say a set number of gallons.
That's 2 gas tanks. For me, for example.
Right. So they'd have to do the math on if to make sure that that's viable, and then that's for standard grade fuel. As we'll get to, that will be a different tier coming up, and then the mobile app, which is something that was introduced, that was also brought up by ChatGPT when we talked about Olive Garden, that the mobile app was going to be involved in that initial tier. And that's tracking fuel consumption, rewards, and savings. I really like the fuel consumption thing.
Yeah.
Because that really tells you, pricing. And
it'd be cool if it could tie to an
there's
API
clarity
in your
there.
car, because heaven forbid the auto manufacturers have open APIs for their vehicles.
Mm.
That would not let the hackers take control of your car, but at least maybe see like how many miles you've driven since last fuel up. Give your average per mile gallon stuff. That I can't stand the closed
they were
ecosystem
doing
of the
the
automakers.
Apple CarPlay integration that takes over your car pretty much, and so there's no reason why you wouldn't be able to put app.
So that's a neat feature, and utilizing the app. And then, one of the things to note, and it gives some ideas later down in here in in-store discounts, is the biggest profit centers for gas stations are the C stores, right?
Mm.
Those convenience stores that are tied to them. That's where the money's made.
Right.
It's not in the fuel, but it's getting you there more frequently. And so something like this, it creates loyalty. I'm going to go there. I go to Kroger. I only go to Kroger Fuel when I'm not driving my electric car.
Costco guy. Wow.
No, because I get rewards points. I go, any of the gift cards in the office we buy, I always specifically buy them. Don't tell Chris George, because I want the fuel points at Kroger. You get 4 times fuel points. And then when I go to fill up, I get the discount over there. So Kroger's already through their membership program doing a lot of this. And I think Speedy Rewards has something, but this is a paid version of that. This is a paid version.
Just so I get this right, you would pay a monthly fee, and then you would pay whatever. Does the monthly?
So Kroger just rolled this out with their Boost membership.
Yeah.
Where you pay a monthly fee and you get accelerated fuel points.
So you still have to pay for. That's the biggest thing. Gas prices are so.
You're still paying for the fuel.
So you're
but
always paying for fuel in addition to the monthly fee.
I'm getting $1 off every time I'm filling up, basically.
Yeah, but if you're thinking about this, and this is why I don't know if anyone would ever do it, is because of how fluctuating fuel costs can be. So if you give them a flat,
you can't do a flat
payment,
amount, no.
which is what this is. So I think this is a little too far, but I think it's interesting that you would be able to say, I'm paying this much a month and I could use this much.
Give me a free cup of coffee every week. Give me a free cup of coffee every day.
7-Eleven does good at that. McDonald's does really good at that, stuff like that.
It's not for me. It's just not for me.
I know. Find something else. A donut. I don't
donut. You get the
All right, we got to move forward.
Yeah.
So we go to the premium version, which is higher monthly fee with larger allotment of fuel gallons and access to premium grade fuel. So that starts to get a little bit more interesting. So now you can start using, their higher tier fuel, which might get people to actually do them, because I don't know anyone that has ever used those unless it's diesel and they need to. And then we have the priority service lanes.
That's big. That's my favorite.
It's only big because you're
because I'm the most.
I'm trying to think of a nice word to call you. You're the
Wow.
only guy that sits in the long ass lines at Costco. Do you actually go fuel at Costco, and do you actually wait in the lines?
One, I don't wait in lines because people always go for the first one, and I'm like, dude, go. But I'm thinking for this Costco example.
Yeah.
Imagine if you had an API, you had somewhat of a code on your car, and every time you pass like the gates, it would tell you, okay, you're going there. It's a gated thing, kind of like a toll booth, right? Where if you have the easy pass, you go into that lane, and if you don't, you wait like all the peasants. Me?
So priority lane is interesting.
That's a big one.
Like if you think about that in Costco,
one.
could you imagine having a higher tier membership so that way you can just whip through the line instead of
yeah.
Do you know how happy I would be?
I passed it on the highway all the
People
time.
pay
And
for
there's a massive line at Costco every single
Crazy.
time. It is crazy.
People like that exclusivity.
Exclusivity, and just people care about time.
Time saving, yeah.
Time
I don't
is
even care about
huge.
exclusivity.
Time is a resource you'll never get back, right?
Yeah.
If you don't make me wait, if I never have to wait for someone to fill my gas,
that
my blood pressure will already be
also
like
very
so much
European
lower.
of you. Somebody fueling for you. They're putting the petrol in your car.
If I don't have to wait, that's in New Jersey. No one does it in Europe. If I don't have to,
going British again.
If I don't have, I don't know why he thinks I'm British.
Just wait talking about somebody filling his car up.
It's all one
If
thing.
I don't have to wait for the car in front of me to figure their lives out, because we always know that person that just takes forever.
Yeah.
I will be a much better person throughout the year. My cholesterol will be lower. My blood pressure will be lower.
So number 3 is interesting on the discounts in the stores too. And that's what we talked about earlier. Like ChatGPT recommends the in-store discounts, the special discounts in the C-store, bonus points for in-store purchases. Like that's a winner to me. And then the last part of this, wow, there's a whole bunch of stuff.
Well, we can whip through them. I think car
Yeah, I
maintenance
think
is really interesting, and
car maintenance is
you have that
interesting.
involved with because they don't really have that, but car maintenance but it's also really cool because they're everywhere. So if you need a quick tune up, but I will say also You know, they were talking about how in here somewhere is also the, you know, the car wash functionality, you know, that being included.
Imagine the bundle that you could have if you had a BP. Every BP had a quick lube right now, like integrated within the convenience store, and then a car wash.
Oh,
like
100%. You could
the
partner.
bundle of your life here.
Yeah, you could partner with a, you know, there could be a you know, whatever, like a Jiffy Lube, you know, belt tire like built into it. Like you'd have a Subway built into a Pizza Hut.
It's a 10-minute. It's a 10-minute thing, and then you get the car wash. You can select whatever you want. You can make an appointment on the mobile app that
it's
you've
not realistic.
developed.
There's not enough land. For all that.
I agree.
Right,
but I think
go
it's
back to Europe,
interesting. No, I agree.
Can I say that?
I mean, this whole thing's not really fully realistic, but I would say it's all interesting in a sense that we just talk about bundling and convenience and time
dream
saving.
together.
And I think that's a big thing. If there are things you can do in a membership where it's going to save money or save time,
oh my god,
that's what people are attracted to.
Yes.
And I think that's something here. One, the priority lane is a time saving thing. In-store discounts is a money saving thing. Whether you're doing discounts on gas or preset fuel prices, like that's a thing too.
Well, and then also like, and we're just gonna whip through this. It talks about roadside assistance too. So it's maintenance and roadside assistance, and you know, and washing your car and gas. It's just like the car subscription.
Yeah.
And again, unrealistic, but that should be the goal here. You should be able to like obvious. They want to own the pantry.
I don't
you know
think
what I mean?
I don't think it's unrealistic, Bradley. You can get if you join the BP membership, you get 15% off your AAA insurance.
Oh no, some of this
like
is,
done.
but like in a sense of like you'd have to do a lot of partnerships with you know, like a roadside assistance and car maintenance. You know, maybe they're not all together, but you know, something like that.
Shows an opportunity for mobile service. I mean, look at my car had a problem with the door handle. The Tesla mobile service team was here working on it yesterday for like 4 hours. That's 4 hours I could stay in the office, not do anything, and they were out there in the parking lot working on the car. And it was so convenient. I didn't have to go anywhere. Guy just showed up and got it done. I didn't have access to my car for 4 hours, but I didn't care. I'm here working anyway. I think this is interesting. I think there's a lot of great takeaways on this Fuel Pass idea. I like having ChatGPT's kind of prompt ideas. This is fun. And I think, you know, we're going to try and continue to do this. I think that's a pretty cool thing. But it all comes back to value.
So we need to put together BP, AAA, any Jet Lube, Quick Lube, whatever, and whoever else wants to be in on this, come to SubSummit. We will have the 4 other people, and we'll have fun. This wasn't as good of a pitch of Apple.
We will merge you all together.
Semi-clap. It wasn't worth it.
Hey, so we made a trip to the mall yesterday, and we've been talking about the last couple of podcasts, and we said, let's go to the mall and check out Peloton and Fabletics, 2 companies that have retail presences, but also have memberships. And it was interesting. So we walked into Peloton, and I was finishing a call, and so you started talking to him initially. And what was the first thing you said when you walked in to the person?
I said, I need help figuring out. I'm trying to get fit, but I don't know where to start with all the equipment you have.
Okay.
That's all I said. Then she says, well, we have different things because, you know, you could get the bike and this would be the cost and whatever. And then you walked in, and then I went on a completely different lie about my mom needing to get fit for the holidays. So that was the better one. But you walked in, and then you started you had a questionnaire just ready to go.
I was drilling her with questions.
Which was awesome. She was not ready.
Now, in fairness, every employee is different. Every employee is going to say different things. Every team member, they're going to have different viewpoints. The thing that I found with Peloton is consistent in the times I've walked in there and the responses that I've gotten. And so I started asking her, I said, so can I use, and by the way, I have a tread and a bike at my house.
I do not.
Don't use them enough, but I have them. And I said to her, I said, so pretending like I don't have those things and pretending like I've never used Peloton before, I said, can I use the Peloton app without needing to own these devices in here, the rower and all this stuff? She goes, yeah, actually you can go scan that QR code over there and it'll, you can get on it, and then she kind of went back into the sales pitch on the bike. And it was super interesting. And to me, their number one goal in the store should be to get you to download the app.
Yeah.
Get you to just download the app and get it on your phone. Because studies and research and everything has shown, if you can just get them to commit to that, getting an app on the phone is so difficult.
Big. And then what you and I noticed, there was no customization of the approach. And so what we talked about is when we walked into the store, she never asked for our names. But had she said, Oh, what's your name? You Louie? Oh, are you on Peloton right now?
First question should be, even before a name, welcome. Are you already a Peloton member?
But if you know the name, you can look it up quickly.
Sure, yeah.
And then you can say, oh, you had a great ride yesterday.
You have to know if I'm already a member or not.
Yeah.
She missed those 2 critical questions. She would have found out you are not and I am.
Yep.
And she would have changed her sales pitch and would have changed the way she did. Like, oh, welcome back. What do you own already, Paul? Well, I've got a bike and a tread. Oh, well, say we have the tread plus now. We have the rower.
That's the beauty of it. Hopefully,
if you look up their account,
she could look it up.
You could be like, dang, you've been killing it lately. Look how many miles you've.
Paul, I noticed you haven't used it in a year, and you're still paying for it. Do you want to cancel it?
Could you imagine?
Actually, I do.
Do you know how like that statement, the impact it would have on you?
Yeah.
Like, wow.
You know what I'm like, and I'm so annoyed with Peloton when I go to cancel, they don't throw me an offer to stay. It's
You're
like,
annoyed by that?
Sorry, see ya.
No, I agree. No, I get annoyed on that too. Like, are you kidding? This is a completely missed opportunity.
It is
to do something like.
Plus,
that.
I don't want to pay $44 a month for something I'm not using. I should start using it.
Yes, or start using it.
So it's a total missed opportunity in terms of, one, not getting to download the app to the phone, and then number 2, not like understanding your audience and knowing more and seeing that. And so I think, like those are kind of the big takeaways of Peloton. Then we wandered over to Fabletics.
Yes.
We kind of blown away by the model a little bit.
I talked to Jenna when I got home. And I was like, listen.
What'd she say?
She said no, because we're such frugal shoppers. Like, I'll go to Costco and buy my workout stuff. But I do love the fabric. So we walked in. I had never been to Fabletics before.
Just 2 dudes walking around looking at chick clothes.
$19 pants? What are you talking about?
Yeah, we saw a sign that says $19
That's too good to be
pants.
true. $19 pants. Who gives $19 pants? Like, Lulu doesn't do that. So Paul in his wonderful, over-exaggerated surprise zone. $19? Is that the membership?
Oh my gosh, what is this VIP thing?
What's going on? That was such a bad.
So she came running over, very excited to tell us about the membership.
She barely
thing.
walked. She it was a
she
very chill.
got over. It really was low pressure, which is really nice. Yeah. But what was interesting, so we learned a lot about their $60 a month membership.
Yep.
That you can pause at any time.
Yes.
Skip it, pause it, cancel,
as many
whatever.
times as you want.
That goes towards your clothes purchase. You get even better.
That was the wildest thing.
The $60 gives you $100 in purchasing power.
The math does not math for me.
Well, it does, I mean, it's incredibly higher margin stuff, but the $60 a month, and I mean, if you don't use it, then you don't use it, but the $100, and it creates loyalty. Right?
Yeah.
It keeps you coming back. It's more of Fabletics in your life, and you like it more, whatever. But that's just $60 a month, and you get all this stuff. But their offer that day was, if you join the VIP membership, and there was no commitment,
and you don't pay,
days, you don't pay anything. You get pants for $19.
It was 70% off of
those
everything.
pants is probably $7. So like they're still making money on the pants, not the margin that they want, but they're getting you and they're creating loyalty there.
And then you asked how many members,
how many people take this? What's your take rate on this? This is where I get like, and by the way, if I'm not fishing for information, I still do super nerdy things like this at stores.
Yeah, but people don't know
what's your upsell percentage? Yeah. And I can tell you, like, speaking like somebody used to own a retail store, like the upsells are all about how you position it. And if you pitch it, you're like 70% of the time you're going to get it. Her stat was 60% of the people are members of this store.
Which is big.
And I was like, are you bonused on this?
That's a kind of an insane amount.
It is.
Don't you think?
And then,
because the membership is that, like, the way she was, I think the whole thing was set up so that it's a chill environment. She was like, yeah, you can totally skip anytime you want. There's no
cancel. Low
don't worry
pressure.
about it. Come back whenever you're ready. We'll have the offer for you. Like, you don't have to do anything.
Like that.
She was very, and I don't know, that could be her personality, but that could be a store-wide thing of like, hey, like, sell it when you see it, but like, and when you see it, it's available to you, and like the customer seems interested, go for it. But outside of that, don't pressure them in that environment type thing. It was very, very fascinating the way she approached it. I think there was also, though, a miss on that personalization element, though, right? Like, she didn't ask if we were members. We kind of started questioning her right away, though, so that may have been we kind of probably put her off a little bit.
No, I don't think so. I think our questioning was fine, and we gave good backstories about, like, I wanted to look for my wife, my kids. Could they share it?
That was good.
That sort of stuff. And so I think the big takeaway there is, one, like the low pressure option to it, low friction, cancel, pause anytime. But they're working hard to just create loyalty. And I know a number of people, like we even talked to somebody here in our office who has like multiple email addresses they've used to like try and get their membership, and use the system different number of times. And it is what because like I know online, if you go online and buy that day, you get 80% off.
Yeah.
When you sign up. So
I think those numbers alone, right? Like that's such an easy acquisition.
So
like pitch for them.
So I think like
80%.
Fabletics is doing things right. Peloton's doing things wrong. And I have my own past beefs with Peloton. I think they're their own worst enemy in a lot of ways.
I still think there's room for growth for both sides.
If I wasn't so underwater in the stock, I'd sell it. Really, like it's like I don't think they're doing themselves any favors.
They have a limitless potential that they have not even tapped into yet, which is a bummer.
No, and like they just need better leadership over there, and they like something has to change with that company because I think they're too full of themselves, and I don't think they're doing themselves any favors. That's my opinion, and that's all. Just my opinion.
That's the juicy with Paul.
That's the juicy with Paul. Hey, you ready for it?
Oh, I am ready for it.
Let's get into another riveting game of Name That Subscription. Name That Subscription is brought to you by Hint Water. If you don't like regular water, try Hint Water. It's got flavors. It's delicious.
Take a hint.
Take a hint. Not actually brought to you by Hint Water. Not sponsored whatsoever in any way. I just really like the Hint Water. It's good. So,
all right, folks, here we go. A new Name That Subscription. It's time to get a taco party. Let's do it.
Yes. How many points are we at so far, Bradley?
-6.
I think that's on you. I actually don't know.
4.
Hey, just want to. Can I share with our audience that we had the pizza party the other day? Because I feel
Okay,
like
that's true. We
the
do
audience
gotta
is
say
upset on your behalf.
We have been giving Paul some slack.
Yes, but we had the pizza party.
Does
It
Little
was
Caesars count as a
awesome.
pizza party?
It counts.
I'd
It
like-
counts.
I'd like
especially because
Jess to jury.
tacos is going to be more expensive.
It feels like if the FTC started investigating the
So
terms
we're
and
currently
conditions
at
of
20
this.
points on this,
Just cut me
and
off.
you have a chance today to
That's fine,
earn
just
more.
Ignore. Thank you for the pizza.
So
I guess.
Bradley,
Yes.
take it away.
Let's do this. All right, set of 1, which is
I will
20
beat
points.
you.
Here
I'm
we
taking
go.
you down.
Tested the subscription in Boston in 2018, then launched nationally in 2019.
State and Liberty.
That is incorrect.
Wait, time out.
That's your only guess.
They tested this in Boston in what year?
Yep, tested the subscription in Boston in 2018, then launched nationally in 2019. And then the company had a 12-month revenue of $347 billion. This is the company, not the subscription.
Okay.
Yeah, not the subscription. They started in 2019. They got $347 billion. No.
Wow.
So the company,
no,
the company
that is
already
not
had
true.
something.
So the company already existed. Their subscription started in 2019. The company had a 12-month revenue of $347 billion
As a whole.
overall. Now, it has about 300,000 employees.
Jeez.
It has not been nominated for a Cube Award yet. And it has seen a 26% increase in membership year over year.
You just said membership.
What year?
26%, yeah, 26% increase in membership year over year. Yeah,
What-
I
what-
said membership, and
what year?
that's one of the hints. It's one of the hints.
Tell me the
take a
years.
hint, Water.
Year over year. Which
Well,
years?
it's-
I don't have
It's
that
probably
information.
just every
Well,
year.
that's a bummer. Well, no, that could
I
be
don't
huge
have
if
the
it was
year.
2021.
No, I agree, but no.
Well, tell Chris that I'm upset.
Okay. What
So
else?
membership, we know that.
Oh, wait, hang on. The clues done in this round?
Oh, there's more.
Nope, that's the end of the clues.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Yep.
20
Look at.
points.
Do you write like anything in there? Or like
I
is
read
it
everything.
like-
Tested in Boston 2018, rolled out in
Like, you're taking
2019,
the
347 billion revenue company. It helps me see it and like
You're
just
a visual.
listen to
You're
it.
a visual guy.
300,000 employees, 26% increase in membership year over year.
300,000 employees is like
It's a big company, and I'm trying to think like, okay, like okay, Costco started way too long ago.
yeah,
So like, who would test a membership somewhere?
in 2018.
The big
Maybe.
company who
Okay,
had,
hang
who
on
had
a second.
probably
Hang on.
existed.
This could be Kroger. This could be Kroger because
Kroger's been
one,
there for
the
a while.
employee count, the revenue is up there. You could test this in a market.
I think you're
somewhere.
right. Say it.
And the increase in membership year over year.
Wait, where was Kroger? Wait, hang on. Is there Kroger in Boston though?
No, they're Midwest,
Nah,
kinda
send it.
East Coast. Is it Kroger?
It is not Kroger.
That was close though, right?
I like where your head's at.
Yeah. So
So a big
so
store,
it's
big
it's a
French-
big it's a big company. And so then I started to go down the path of like, was it like a New York Times? Did they test something
Could it be a food chain?
that way? Food chain. Interesting.
Membership, like Panera?
Well, that revenue is not high. That revenue is too high for
Starbucks?
Panera. Starbucks, 2018.
Also 300,000
No.
employees though.
300,000 employees is a lot.
That's the biggest hint to me. Just got it. I'm gonna go with Starbucks because I see him smile. I don't know why, but I'm gonna go with Starbucks.
No, I was smiling at the fact that we keep pushing Hint Water and it's not a sponsor. It is not Starbucks.
Stop smiling for the wrong reason.
Keep that poker face.
More hints, please.
Boy, yeah, I'm gonna need some.
I think we're gonna get it after.
No,
this.
wait, hang on.
You only get one guess.
Restoration Hardware.
No.
That was a good one though.
I know, right? The revenue is probably higher than where they would be. It's going to be so painfully obvious when we hear.
I think the next round.
Okay,
next round.
I think you guys will too.
Yeah, we got this.
Here we go.
We're on the money right now.
I have a great radio voice this week.
So after
mine
is kind of gravelly, and I think it is helping. After decades of operating a loyalty and rewards program, this was the company's first time offering a paid membership.
Oh my gosh.
This is a $5 a month fee.
I got it. I got it, baby. I wish I got it last round.
Let's hear it.
You ready for it?
I'm gonna be pissed, aren't I?
CVS Care Pass.
It is CVS Care Pass. Congratulations.
Boom. 10 points to the
We
taco
got a free
party.
taco party because you get no.
No, it's 10 points. Yeah, the $5 is what cued me in.
Yeah.
So it's
I
super
figured that'd be
interesting.
the one.
That's insane though. There's
I
a
was
lot of
really
memberships.
close. Yeah. And by the way, CVS, we are actively. We found somebody who's willing to talk to us. We're trying to get them out to SubSummit.
That's the best. Someone
Somebody's willing to talk to us.
Like my dating
We were
life.
relentless
we
with our
gotta work
LinkedIn.
on the phrasing of things
Yeah.
because that was not good.
Finally got somebody to open their messages.
Been sliding into DMs all year.
You're
Finally.
always sliding into the DMs.
Someone who's willing to talk to us.
Yeah, we just channel our way through.
So good.
We love having amazing companies talk
do.
about amazing things at SubSummit, and we're relentless about it. Like we don't stop.
I need to understand something. There's a lot of memberships that are like roughly in the $5 price points, and they have had a loyalty program. So like,
It all has to do with the revenue size and the employee count. You got to think about companies that big.
Yeah, the
That
revenue is a big company.
That 26% year-over-year member increase is great too. I see
could have
this
been Walmart though. I feel like
every CVS register right now. It could have been Walmart, but like it just the $5 was like it.
That got you going.
CVS is right on with what they're doing with this program.
Yeah.
Again, creating loyalty, a low barrier to entry, and you get the $5 back essentially. It's basically $0, but
tell us more.
But by spending that $5, you create a commitment. It's like if we give somebody a free ticket to SubSummit, if you're not going through the host and merchant program, if you're just like, hey, just come out and take a free ticket, they are far less likely to come out to the event and show up versus if they were to spend at least even $50 on that
Sunk
ticket.
cost.
Right? You're spending money, and so you're making an investment in that, and it always creates greater loyalty.
Shout out Jay Myers for that sunk cost session on SubSummit 2023.
Yeah,
that was a good
some
one.
really good
Literally
stuff.
a 10-month reward every single time. That's what one of the perks is.
Yeah.
So $5 a month, and you get a $10 reward.
Yeah.
So
Like
as long
you're
as
giving
you
you the
go
money
in,
back.
as long as you go in every month.
Yeah.
Wait, no, you get a $10 reward for every month?
Correct. You pay $5 to get $10.
Why do people? Yeah, why am I not
Because
signed
it creates
up?
loyalty. And
Well,
you,
No, I'm
you
saying
should-
why am I not
I
signed
know.
up? Like,
why
this
am I
is-
not signed up either? Like
Everybody
I'm
Bradley,
should be.
sign us up
We're
on your
signing
credit
up.
card.
And I'm telling you, like they started with a lightweight, like in a lightweight in 2019, but over time they're like now at every register it's like glaring signs right there, and eventually like they will have a massive
of
membership
everybody.
program.
Does Rite Aid have anything like this?
Well, Rite Aid really doesn't.
don't
Rite
think
Aid
it's
just filed
competition,
bankruptcy.
yeah.
You know, like they're
still, I'm
struggling
just
anyway.
looking at the next competitor, but
No, I mean like it's
There's no real competitor in
winning.
this space with. I mean,
Kroger's kind of marching down this path too.
because
With
you have the
Boost and what they're
you're right,
doing.
You're right.
I could see this, but Kroger needs to take some
How
cues from what CVS is doing. The Boost membership, I think, if they rolled it out as $5, get $10 at Kroger every month, I'm more loyalty. I'm more loyal.
Man, we're gonna have some competition. for
Guys,
best
this is a great
membership
podcast.
awards.
Lots of great takeaways. Lots of great lessons learned. We talked about everything from subscriptions to memberships to recurring revenue.
It's like we did it on purpose.
Yeah. So thanks for tuning in, everybody. I'm sorry that we lost episode 27, but someday
Still 28.
you will get
today.
it. This is an enjoyable episode 28. If you liked it, leave some comments, pass along to a friend. Tell us how we can get better. Email me anytime at paul.chambers@subta.com. And appreciate
Paul at SubSummit, Louis at SubSummit.
some works for it. Appreciate tuning in, and we'll see you next time on episode number 29.